Good evening, and welcome to Creative Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities, presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself: corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, four-time best-selling author, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. Tonight we have an amazing special VIP guest, Day Edwards. A little bit about her. Day Edwards, award-winning business owner, founder of Church Space, the first shred space for ministries and churches. By skill, a national publicist, serving as senior publicist at the consultancy PR firm, helping executives, entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, startups, coaches, and consultants clarify their messages, set up their systems, craft their signature sound bites, and get life-changing media exposure so that their media appearances result in business. Having placed clients on platforms such as BET, Fox, and Forbes, and also coaching and creating marketing strategies for Fortune 500 CEOs, world-renowned speakers, award-winning documentary film producers, and beyond. Recent winner of the Texas Black Expo 10K pitch competition, Day Edwards is surely a mastermind to watch. Welcome to the table, the amazing Day Edwards.
Yes! You know, I haven't updated my bio that I sent you. I haven't updated bio to include the New Orleans, the Essence Festival pitch competition win.
Yes, that's one of my questions for you. She is a winner of that as well. So tell us more about your journey, because your bio is amazing.
Woo. Oh, my journey. Woo. Where did we start? I'm from Texas. I am a pastor's child. And growing up, I've always been the representative of my family, which is probably what pushed me into PR. And then as I got older in college, I started representing pageant queens. So I started getting a lot of pageant queens into the press. And then my first lady actually took notice, and I started doing her PR. And then from there, I started to do a lot of people in ministry, in the kingdom market, I guess you can say. I started representing them as their publicist. And then from there started Church Space, which is totally not PR, but actual God-given vision that God gave me. I was actually seeking God for my next move because I was getting a little tired of PR. I was getting a little tired of being a publicist, so I said, okay, God, what is next? Like, I know that things are only for a season, and I never want to be in disobedience by staying in a season for too long. And I just began to seek him for my next move, and I had a desire to open a co-working spot for female entrepreneurs, simply because that's my passion. I love helping establish brands, and I love motivating people, to be the boss babe, But God told me, no, I'm not going to have a shared space for entrepreneurs. I want you to start one for the kingdom. And I did not understand what he meant at that time. But now it makes sense because the pitch is winning me thousands everywhere I go. So,
yes.
That's the background. I'm super excited for what God is doing.
Yes, he's doing some amazing things in your life, Day. I consistently follow you on social media, and you're doing great things. And not only are you doing it, but you're reaching back and pulling forward, too. So I love that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. So tell us more about this amazing, the first shredded space for ministries and church space that you founded. Please tell us more about it and how we can get involved and support it as well.
Yes, it's the first shared, originally when we launched, we were the first shared space for churches. Basically, we were a church that multiple churches can use, multiple ministries. But as time went about, we transformed into something bigger because, God always wants us to grow and to stretch. And so now we are the first mobile app that connects vacant churches with ministries, business owners, and event planners with church space. Basically, anyone who's looking for event space or working space or church space at an affordable rate. I don't know if you're familiar with WeWork, but
Yes.
we're similar
Yes.
to them, except for the fact that we are the only startup that is geared towards transforming churches into shared spaces rather than offices.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk about what your passion, because you're very passionate about ministry and marketplace, right? So please tell our listeners more about your passion.
Well, let me clarify. I'm very passionate about. I wouldn't even say. I wouldn't even. I'm being very transparent. I'm not passionate about ministry. I'm passionate about God and God's people. I guess that's my ministry that God has given me. But I'm very passionate about God, and anything that I do, the word says that he should be a consuming fire, which means that anything that you do, anything you put your hands to should have that consuming fire. So anything that I do will have God all throughout it, because that is my passion. I haven't really been called to those who do not know Christ. That's not my ministry. But those who do know Christ but are kind of just stuck at that comfort level where they need to be stretched a little bit more. That's where God has called me. So my passion is to see people not become complacent in Christ, not to become complacent in their business, not to become complacent in their passion and just settle for little and continue to be comfortable, but to really, 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 really stretch deep down into the promises of God and watch them unfold. That is my passion.
I love that. And that's so important that we put him first in everything that we do, and that we build a relationship with him, not just go to church, but have an actual relationship with him.
Oh, yeah.
Personal relationship.
Yes.
So why is it so important, Dave, for us to have a prayer life and to pray over our business? Because I know you consistently speak about that on your post daily, everything that you do, you talk about that. So will you please go into depth and elaborate more on that for our listeners?
Yes, I will. And I'm going to take you back to like 2010 when what's crazy is I was doing a lot of the same stuff that I'm doing now, but nothing lasted because I had zero prayer life. When I tell you I would start something and I would find it basically built up and then tore down within weeks or months. Or I actually built stuff that lasted for years and watched it all be wiped away. And what happens and what I realized through revelation of the Spirit and spending time with God and throughout His Word is that if we do not cover our businesses and cover our lives and cover our marriages, cover our friendships, cover our ideas, our creativity in prayer and rooted in prayer, there's no foundation. So they're easily taken away. They're easily hijacked for another cause. They can easily fade away. They could easily be taken away. And so we have to be ever so careful for anything that we are building, that we build it up in the spirit before we actually even acknowledge it here in the presence in the physical, simply because if it doesn't have any spiritual backing or any spiritual growth to it, it really does not exist, because it can take one physical thing to evaporate it, if that makes any sense. And I learned recently about spiritual attacks. My husband is from Ghana, and in Ghana, they love God, they love Christ, but they're different about it. They're more so, people here in America, we're getting on this whole spiritual trend, but their doctrines and the way they practice Christianity has always been a spiritual practice. It's never been a religious practice in Africa. It's starting to be religious, which is really scary. But anyways, they were taught Christianity in a more spiritual aspect. It's not so don't do wrong to your neighbor, but they were taught that the bad thoughts that you have of your neighbor is what causes those spiritual attacks. For instance, if I see a business that is owned by someone who I envy or owned by someone I'm jealous of, just my one thought of them causes a spark in the spiritual realm, which is then going against going against whatever it is that they have built. And if they did not build it in the spiritual realm, my one thought, my one attack could easily tear it down. It could easily come about to where they lose their office key, or an invoice was not paid or delayed, or someone did a chargeback. Little things like that can easily tear down what you have built up in the physical, generally start within the spiritual realm. Is that making sense?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's why I'm so passionate about building up things through prayer first.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because like you stated, it has to have a foundation, and we need to pray over everything. Like you said, our businesses, our family, our relationships, our friendships, all of that is so important because you're right. If it's not rooted and if it's not planted in good soil and good seed, it will not last. That's true. That's true.
Yes, very true.
And I know that you are the pitch queen, right? The pitch queen. So why? So Jay, why is having a good pitch very important when trying to take your business to the next level? Because I think a lot of people, they have great ideas, they have great things going, but sometimes that pitch will hold them back if they don't do it right. So,
absolutely. Let me tell you something. That last pitch that I just won in New Orleans, it changed moments before I even got on stage because something happens and I'm not thirsty for no reason. I don't be trying to make everything about God, I promise.
It should be, though. It's about Him.
Listen, God revealed so much through that last pitch competition that as I'm competing and as I'm growing with my business, my pitch started off one way. And by the time I was ready to get on stage, it was a completely different pitch. And what I like to tell people is that if you cannot put together your pitch within 60 seconds to 90 seconds, you really don't understand what it is that you're doing. And I will say that when I first had the vision of church space, I had no idea what it was. So when people would ask me what is church space, I'd be like, well, it's a shared space for churches. There's instruments. Like I would go into all this nonsense that did not cultivate what it was I was giving within 30 or 90 seconds. The reason why it's so important to have your pitch together is simply because it's going to do something to you mentally. It's going to it's like a shortcut in your brain to understand what it is you offer, who you're offering it to, and why there's value in it, right? So if I can tell you all of those things within 30 seconds to 90 seconds, you're already sold on my dream. But if I cannot articulate that to you, I'm already, after 90 seconds, I stop listening. And I'm like, okay, let me see your card. Thank you. It goes into the bottom of the pile, right?
Right.
But also, whenever we have our pitch together and we continue to practice it and perfect it, God reveals to us, like, I remember my first pitch was, it lacked something. My first pitch lacked and I still won a competition with it. But when I went back and thought about it, my first pitch didn't even ask for money. And you're always supposed to ask for a dollar amount while you're pitching. And God showed me that. But I realized every time I perfect my pitch or practice my pitch, something else is revealed to me. So I tell people to don't ever just get stuck on one pitch. You keep practicing that pitch until you practice it to everybody you know. Pitch it to your friends. Pitch it to your family. My 4-year-old wakes up saying my pitch. That's how much I say this pitch. And by me saying it so much, I start to realize, people ask me questions like, well, how do you make money? Okay, I have to go back to the drawing board and now include into my 90 seconds of how I make money. If you keep perfecting your pitch, you're ultimately going to perfect your business model.
Yeah. I love that. And one key thing that you said, we should always have a 60 or 90-second one, and we should always be adding to it and getting better, right? So I think a lot of listeners need to hear that because it should be better each time, and it's a different pitch for each thing, correct?
Absolutely. Yes, it's definitely going to be a different pitch for each thing, depending on what it is you're pitching for. And, every pitch competition has their own guidelines and focus.
Right. Which leads us to your next amazing win. Super congratulations at Essence Festival on winning the New Voices pitch competition.
Yes. Oh, my
Tell
goodness.
us about it. I remember you calling the prayer warriors during that day. I remember because you posted on Facebook. You said, I need every prayer warrior to pray.
Come on.
And within probably an hour later, you won the $100,000. So tell us about that.
Tell me prayer don't work. Tell me. Listen, I got great wait. Listen. I had applied for that same pitch competition in March when they went to South by Southwest, and I only made it to the top 50, and I was so devastated. And then I did another pitch competition where I didn't even place, and I was like, wait, God, what's happening? But, I kept going, and so when I made it to the top 10, I was automatically like, okay, God, this is it. Like, this is it. I thought I was just going to come in maybe third, second, but when they announced I was the first place winner, my largest pitch prize is a 10,000 pitch competition. This was 100,000 prize, not prize, but collectively. So I'm in first place. I'm thinking, well, I'm going to go home with like 2,000, 5,000. Like, God, even 5,000. But when they said the first place, oh, my goodness. And whenever I went onto Facebook, what you said about me asking everyone to pray, I did not announce what it was I was competing for or anything, simply because I just needed people to be at his feet in regards to me.
Yes.
And from there, I'm making my request known. But, oh, my goodness, prayer is so amazing.
Yes, it is.
God is so amazing. Oh, my God. I've had multiple clients be a part of Essence Festival Weekend, but to be on stage in front of all those people, to win such a huge platform, on such a huge platform, is just another confirmation of God's word and God's promises. So it was amazing. It was amazing. I'm still blown away. Like, did that really happen? Oh, my God.
I know. It was definitely amazing. And the thing about the journey, right, and that's what I want listeners to understand, that the journey was of you winning this $100,000, the process. Because a lot of people want the accomplishments, and they don't want to go through the pain. And the pain is what builds us for the next level. And it's all about, it was a delay, not a denial. You went for one, you didn't get it. You went another time, you didn't get it. But what you didn't do was give up, right? Because he had something better.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Listen, when I tell you I was so discouraged, but here's the thing. When God has told you something, and you heard from God, you dare not to give up. You keep going until you see his promises unfold.
Yes.
Whenever last year God told me that he was giving me big checks, and I was like, ooh, I'm getting money. But no, he literally meant big checks.
Yes.
And so every competition I won, they didn't have a big check there. They would just give me like a paper check. And I'm like, okay, no, God, you literally told me big check. So when they brought out the big check on stage, I was like, that's it. That's it. That's the big check. But I know there's more big checks. There's more. There's so much more. But listen, even if it appears to be a lot of times what the enemy will do, because when God tells you something, he's not just telling you. He's announcing, and, of course, the enemy hears it as well. So anytime you come into a situation to where things are not manifesting according to God's promises, the enemy will quickly try to attach to your emotions and to your feelings, which we should never lead by. We should always lead by spirit. But, of course, we're human, so when emotions come into play, we lean on those, especially when we're hurt. When we're hurt, we're like, what? You're leaning onto your emotions. And so it's so easy to get stuck in that emotional place. But if we get stuck there, if we get stuck in the almost, or the failures, we will never, ever, 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 ever get to the point to where we see God's promises come to life. And it's because of those failures that we're able to strengthen our faith. That's how faith is built. That is how perseverance is built. And that's how we ultimately tell God, like, I hear you, even though I don't see you, I hear you, and I'm going to keep pressing forward. God sometimes just wants to know that we hear him. Do you hear me, even though it does not look like what I'm telling you? Are you still going to press forward? Oh, we just have to keep pressing forward. Yes.
I love it. I love it, that everything that you're saying, because that's how faith is built. You're right. You don't supposed to know. You don't supposed to know everything.
Right.
You're supposed to have faith. Right. You're supposed to do the work and have faith. Let's not forget to do the work.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So would you please share with our listeners what their pitch should include when they're pitching for sponsorships? So I know that you spoke about that over the last week or so, and I know a lot of people have been, talking about, they want to pitch for different sponsorships and different things like that. So could you share a little bit of different strategies on how that should look when you're pitching for sponsorship?
Yes, when you're pitching for sponsorship, you're always going to want to align it to the target market of whoever you're pitching to. For instance, I used the example on my last live. If I was pitching to like Curls, a natural hair brand, I am going to include into my pitch something that Curls would be interested in. What is Curls? They are a natural hair company, so they're going to be interested in getting their brand, getting their product in groups or the masses of natural hair wearers, I guess you can say, natural hair women. So I would include in there my event, how it relates to natural hair, how natural hair people could benefit from it. But ultimately, it's a numbers game. I'm going to tell you how many thousands or hundreds of natural hair people will, A, hear my podcast, B, hear my radio show, or C, be at my event. I'm going to include those numbers, those statistics, and I'm really going to influence you by giving you all of the benefits of my show as to how it relates to your brand.
I love that. For our listeners that want to know how she's doing it and want to know how to go do that, always align it with your brand. And like you stated, include those numbers and those benefits of how can your brand help that brand that you're pitching to.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yes.
And I know it's very important to stand out, to be unique, right? Because everybody's pitching, right? You're going to have everybody competing.
Exactly.
So what's making your brand, what's making your podcast different, correct?
Exactly. Why are you set apart from all of the rest? What are you going to bring to the table that everyone else, because keep in mind, everyone else is pitching. So what are you bringing that everyone else is not bringing? What is your niche that you offer to your actual audience that you can offer to mine?
What is your niche? What is different about it? What is it? For all of our listeners that are listening, make sure those are nuggets that we've gotten from day so far tonight about your pitches. You should have a 60 and 90-second pitch, and you should always be improving it. Always. So, Day, I noticed you pretty much built your own table already, and you're continuing to build it. But I always ask my guests this question. How did you create your seat at the table?
How did I create my seat at the table? That is a really good question. Honestly, I did. Listen, what I've learned is that God is going to prepare our table, right? But if we are not working, if we're not building, we won't have a table. So I just got to work. I just started doing whatever I could at the moment is what I started doing. And from there, I went with that. Everything that I began to build, God began to prepare. So I just started working. I got to work.
That's the key thing. You got to work, right? Because, we can't win and not work. We have to do the work. That's part of it, right? We have to have faith, believe in God, have faith, and most of all, do the work.
Absolutely.
I know you spoke about, doing the work in one of your posts a while back. We can't have, we can have faith, but we got to do the work as well.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. We cannot pray for things and say we have faith in God, and then God is telling us to do A, B, and C, and we're like, oh, that's a lot of work. I don't know if I can handle all of that right now. And it's like, well, what do you want him to do? God is always going to do his part, but he's waiting for us to do our part.
Exactly. And we all have a journey, and we all should be embracing the pain to help us get there. So what did failure teach you on your journey so far, Day? What has failure taught you?
Oh, my goodness. Failure has taught me something so beautiful. Listen, I don't try to make everything about God. It just happens. Failure taught me something so beautiful about God and how he loves us, that God knew that we were going to fail, not only fail in business, but fail with him. He knew we were not going to abide by his laws. He knew we had a sinning, fleshy way of going about life. He knew we were going to get off track. We were going to stray for X amount of years. But guess what? God still upholds the promises because he knows that where you're at and where you're failing at is not where your heart is at. It's not where you want to be. He knows how you desire to be what you've created him to be, and he still rewards us. He still loves us. So failure taught me that even though I fail in life or business, that God is not keeping his promises for me, and God is not loving. That's what failure has taught me.
Yes, all of that. And it's a lesson, right? It's part of the journey. It's part of the journey. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So what did success teach you?
I'm sorry?
What did success teach you?
I don't know why I can't hear you.
What did success teach you?
Oh, what did success teach me? Oh,
yes.
My goodness. Success taught me that it was confirmation, actually. It was confirmation that I'm doing this thing right, that my prayers and the work, it taught me that the work that I'm doing is actually mattering. It actually makes the difference. The work makes the difference. Not just that, but it also taught me that the prayer makes the difference. It pretty much confirms everything that God had been telling me. Because, sometimes we can be just walking in our faith and like, okay, God, I'm doing this. Okay, God, I'm doing this. I need confirmation. Of course, he's not going to send something out the sky to confirm, right? But that success that he sends is all the confirmation that you need.
I love that. Because, it also, as you stated, to always, have that prayer life, and it's to stay humble too, right?
Yes. Humble.
Amazing.
You have to. That's something that success will always bring. But honestly, I feel like that the humbleness comes before the success because, if you're always breaking before him or always at his feet, he'll break you. He'll break you in such a way to where when you do get that success, you have no one else to thank but him.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. I love how you put that. You're right because he would get our attention, right? And he would get our attention to a point where when it happens, we have no other way to go but to thank him. He'll move people out the way. He'll move things out the way. I love it.
He'll be like, it wasn't that. It wasn't your husband. It wasn't. He will literally move every crutch that you have just to show you that when you get to the top.
Yes. That he will get the credit.
It was him the whole time. Yes.
I love this. So, Jay, tell us what else we can expect from you the rest of 2019. We're in the third quarter. You started off the third quarter with
winning.
Okay.
Winning.
Oh my God! So, do you want to share anything that you have coming up the next third and fourth quarter?
Oh my goodness, yes, I do actually. God, here we go. Listen, this would be like, who is God girl on your show, Ashley? And why?
Go ahead.
Waiting all up on your show. But no, listen, I'm super excited for a new movement called Boss Babes Who Pray. Something that God poured into me to pour into other women who are business owners and who love to pray and who want to cultivate their success around a healthy prayer life. So if you are on Facebook, please search for the group Boss Babes Who Pray. Join the group, join the movement. It's going to be amazing. And aside from that, we have a few more pitch competitions for church space. We're still doing some seed. We're still looking for seed funding, and we may do a crowdfunding campaign to get the mobile app up and running. But we're still going to be competing in competitions nationwide and taking home the other big checks.
I love it. So definitely follow her movement, her group, Boss Babes Who Pray. Definitely listeners follow her. And Jay, I can't wait to see all the great, amazing things that God is going to continue to do in your life. He is doing some amazing things. And the fact that you're giving him the credit for everything, he will continue to bless you double and triple for doing that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so very much.
You are welcome. So please tell our listeners how they can follow you on all social media platforms one more time.
Yes. You can follow me on Facebook, Day, D-A-Y, Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at, what is my Instagram? Oh, Boss Babes Who Pray, and then also Day_Edwards_. And there you go.
So please follow her. Day, I just want to thank you for this amazing interview. I want to thank you for taking I want to thank you for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to come to the table. And I cannot wait to invite you back to the table.
I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this so much, Ashley. Thank you.
Yes, you are welcome. Amazing interview. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome. Praise God.
So I would like to give a special thanks to Tammy Collins Marquis and John Schamberger. I would also like to give a special thanks to author Kimberly McNamore and to my intern, Sarah, from Tennessee State University. And you all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.